want to give you parents out there a word of encouragement. My wife and I, Linda and I, we have 3 children, all grown, of course, and kids of their own, old enough now to have kids of their own. But our oldest daughter, Lori, grew up with a serious struggle in her life for several years, well into adulthood. She came to know Jesus when she was very young, filled with the Spirit, baptized in water. But in her late teenage years and early 20s and even into her 30s, she had some terrific struggles. But about 10 years ago, she came to an amazing revelation of the grace of God, and it set her free. And for the last 9-10 years, she has been growing in grace and enjoying righteousness, peace, and joy. And this is the way she describes how, or one of the ways, the concept of genuine grace, true grace, new covenant grace broke into her life. She was sitting at home one day paying the bills for her and her husband, for the family, and she was getting ready to make the house payment. And she read on the coupon book to make her mortgage payment, where it said that the payment was due on the 1st of the month. However, they were giving her, as they do, 5 days, which they referred to as a grace period. So if she got the payment in within 5 days after the 1st, there would be no penalty. And they called that on the coupon a grace period. There's a grace period of 5 days. And she wrote me and said, "Dad, when I saw that, I had a revelation. And the revelation was that that's not a grace period. That's a mercy period. Because mercy is, if you can't make the payment for a certain amount of time, we're not going to penalize you. Out of God's mercy, Christ has taken the penalty from us." But then she said, "You know, Dad, I realized that if they would have written to me and said, look, if you can't make the payment at all, the bank will step in because we care about you so much, and we, with our resources, we will make the payment for you in your name." And she said, "Dad, that would be a grace period, because the grace of God says you don't have the ability to be like Christ, but His Spirit will come and live inside of you and begin to transform you on the inside, so that the fruit of Christ's nature and the fruit of the Spirit will flow out of you, empowering you. His mercy has taken the penalty. Sadly, His mercy has taken the penalty for the whole world. I say sadly because the whole world doesn't know it. But grace and mercy are not the same thing. And when my daughter came into that revelation, the grace and mercy were not the same thing. It transformed her life and has transformed her forever. So I want to say to you that the mercy of God says that Christ has taken the penalty for sin upon Himself. But the grace of God is the presence of the Holy Spirit within you, Christ in you, the hope of glory. And the same one who in His mercy has forgiven you and washed you from the penalty of your sin is also strengthening you, sanctifying you from the inside out, transforming you. As you put your faith in who's living in you, you are experiencing, you already experienced His mercy period if you're born again, but you are now experiencing the grace period, so to speak, of Christ in you, changing you from the inside out. And that revelation will transform any of us who will put our faith in the one who is living in us. Righteousness, peace, and joy. You want to know more about it? markdrake.org.